Stugotz here for DraftKings. It's week 2 of the football season, which means a second shot at victory. This weekend, DraftKings has over $2 million in total prizes, and you can play free with your first deposit. With 1 week fantasy at DraftKings, you choose when to play, draft a new team every week, and no season-long commitment at DraftKings. You are the GM. Just choose your players, stay under the salary cap, and see how your team stacks up against the competition, because nothing makes Football Sunday more exciting than when you have a DraftKings lineup on the line. Download the app or go to DraftKings.com now. Use code Dan to enter a contest for free this weekend with your first deposit and compete for your share of over $2 million in total prizes. That's code Dan only at DraftKings, the game inside the game. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
It's funny how in sports you try and get away from the socio-economic talk, the sociology, the race conversations, the isms, and ESPN is here for you, occasionally quoting Boston Red Sox manager Alex Cora in the only time that we will venture near Puerto Rico, hurricanes, brown people, and Trump. We will do it only if Alex Cora does it for us. So Alex Cora, who cares about Puerto Rico, and Alex Cora, who finds himself in a position where the President of the United States is disputing the official conclusion that nearly 3,000 people died in Puerto Rico. Here are Alex Cora's quotes. When I left the island after that storm had hit, they had anywhere from 6 to 18 deaths. As time went by, it did not go up by much. Then a long time later, they started to report really large numbers, like 3,000. To be tweeting about 3,000 people, it's actually disrespectful for my country. We see it that way. I know probably he doesn't feel that way. And like I said, hey, man, thank you for helping us. He went down there. He did what he did. I hate talking about politics and all that, but I think this is more than politics. It's about a country that really suffered. You see the hurricanes forming now. Everybody's panicking. It's not easy. One thing's for sure, and I told the media before, one thing I'm proud, we're standing up on our own 2 feet. Like, do we need help? Yeah, we do. We know that. These are not very controversial comments. These comments don't say much of anything other than there's a baseball manager out there who doesn't much want to wade into these waters either.
But feels the need to say something,
obviously. Well, he's being asked. He's being asked, and now he's got to be a voice on behalf of a people as the president of the country, takes out their mayor and continues to do stuff. When Puerto Rico was ravaged in a way that made Hispanic people in this country feel pretty alone and probably like black people often feel in this country. It made brown people, seeing the way that Puerto Rico was treated while being victimized, the way that Puerto Rico was being treated by our country's representative, these are not comments that say very much, right, Stugotz? What's Alex Cora saying here? He's not saying anything other than my island suffered, and, they have the deaths have been reported. There's not really a reason for the president of the country to minimize or marginalize those brown deaths.
He's saying that Puerto Rico went through a big ordeal, a tragedy, and that's exactly right. There's no reason to debate. That's the last thing that should be debated. Just, how many lives
I don't
lost
get that.
In the storm.
I don't get the science of that. But regardless, Tim Kurkjian's going to join us at 11 a.m. David Sampson's going to join us at David Sampson already joined us. He joined us earlier in the show.
David Simon, though, I can understand why you're confused.
That's not a fine.
No, that's just dyslexia.
Nope, not a fine. Now, if it were me reading that, I would blame Roy for putting David Sampson instead of David Simon. That would cost me $2. It doesn't cost me now. I'm just saying, in a hypothetical situation, that's what would have happened.
Right. So David Simon, the creator of The Wire, is going to join us at 11:30 Eastern. But I've got to talk about what the Baldwin brothers have done here. The Baldwin brothers, we are feuding with them, and we've been feuding with them. And Daniel Baldwin hosts a sports radio show in Syracuse. And last week, he was our celebrity prognosticator, but we only did that to get Alec on. Alec Baldwin came on. He yelled at me. He made jokes. He disrespected me. Everyone had a great time. And then Daniel Baldwin got his ass kicked by Colin Cowherd. And so he's out. He's gone. Our celebrity prognosticator, the way that it works.
Let's be clear. Colin was 3-2.
Right.
Fugazi 3-2 too.
It was a 3-2 where he had the Giants +6. He had a
He got a line that was 3 points better than any book.
Than anyone has ever seen. Regardless, counterfeit Cowherd, he won and Daniel Baldwin is eliminated, but now Daniel Baldwin has somehow, and this should be offensive to the people who listen to the show, but maybe they won't find it offensive, because I will ask this question. Should Daniel and Alec Baldwin be allowed back on, even though they had a losing record? And I don't even know if we're going to get Alec, but Daniel's trying to buy his way back into Celebrity Prognosticator. So I drive in this morning. And there is a giant truck with videos all over the place playing all this peace music because he wants to end the feud. He's sitting here. Mike, what were some of the awful songs that were playing way too loudly in a vehicle that is circling around the Clevelander here for 4 hours? It's been rented to circle around here very loudly for 4 hours. And all it is Daniel Baldwin, famous people taking pictures with Daniel Baldwin, like the mother from Everyone Loves Raymond.
Yes.
Like all he's doing is celebrating his, cruddy career.
Charles Bronson. There's a photo of him arm in arm with Charles Bronson.
It's just him. It's Daniel Baldwin showing you how famous he is when he's never the famous one in any of the photos that he's taken.
Strawberry.
Daryl Strawberry is in one of them.
There's a picture of him and Dr. Phil. I mean,
James Wood.
I just took a picture with Dr. Phil. I need a break.
That is a fine.
Yeah.
That's a sign that you're getting old when you start taking away S's. And
I thought adding S's was the problem.
Either or. But speaking of your dad, Daniel Baldwin loves your dad's music. Basically, he has the same musical taste as everyone's dad, because every single one of these sound bites I can only play once because it's got some of the worst music behind it.
But he's not merely trying to buy his way back into Celebrity Prognosticator. He's also badgering us with music, and he's also saying that he wants to end the feud with this. Is he going to be allowed to buy his way back on here with his brother?
Yeah, man, he's brokering our future Celebrity Prognosticators. This is amazing because there's so many Baldwins. One Baldwin goes down, another one's there to replace him.
And let's be honest, Alec is the one buying his way back in.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Alec may be hanging around again today.
Well,
but he's not our Celebrity Prognosticator.
We've got a dilemma on our hand. We will continue. What happened, Allison? What are you shouting at me?
I'm shouting that the prognosticator is Billy.
Okay.
Smoldering fair game Billy Baldwin.
Oh, my God.
There's no other way we can get Billy Baldwin. No other way.
Billy Baldwin from Sliver?
From Backdraft.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. The hair in Backdraft.
Look at me right now.
Yeah, he looks kind of sedated and smoldering.
Put out that fire.
He always looks
that fire. I don't want to put out that fire.
It is. So that's what we've got coming up here, I guess, because I really don't feel like they should be allowed back on. They lost. It shouldn't be Baldwin. It should be Bald lost.
One Baldwin down, next Baldwin up.
One Bald lost down, another Bald lost up. Like, why is it? Come on. Why should they be allowed back on here?
Because Alec is there.
Just
Alec's famous.
The general. Okay.
Yeah.
Good answer,
We've
Mike.
always wanted
Good
Alex.
answer. Good answer.
It's all about
He knows
Alec.
what he's doing.
Yep.
And because Allison couldn't book anyone else.
Exactly. ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Home Insurance. Getting a quote is easier than ever. Tune in for college football action tomorrow as Ohio State battles TCU, presented by Goodyear. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPNradio.com, and the ESPN app. Here's your SportsCenter update. The Bengals are back. I told you, Dan, 2-0 now. They defeated the Ravens 34-23. Thursday Night Football, Andy Dalton, Red Rifle, went 24 for 42, 265 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 to A.J. Green. The Senators have traded Eric Carlson and Francis Perrone to the Sharks for a first-round pick in either 2019 or 2020, a second-round pick in 2019. Chris Tierney, Josh Norris, Rudolph Balsers, Dylan DeMello, and 2 conditional draft picks. Damn you, Roy, it's early. This SportsCenter is brought to you by JCPenney. Get ready, something big is coming to JCPenney. We're introducing Shaquille O'Neal XLG, a tailored line of clothing exclusively for big and tall, only at JCPenney. For all the latest headlines and information, tune in the SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
More than Stu from the Clevelander on ESPN Radio.
Computer, execute 12.4p operation.
Optimizing algorithm. Running encryption packet alpha 990. Oh, I don't feel so good.
What is it, computer?
Is it hot in here? It feels hot in here. I feel a little clammy. I should lie down or something.
A computer with a virus? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
Those oysters Rockefeller were a mistake.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Baseball season rolls along. Tune in tomorrow as Manny Machado and the Dodgers visit the Cardinals, presented by Barbasol Razors. Coverage begins at 12:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPNradio.com, and the ESPN app. It is time to check out the college injury report, brought to you by Next Level Performance. Temple linebacker Corey Matthews is questionable with a bruised shoulder. Cal safety Daniel Tanner is probable with a dislocated finger. Northwestern receiver Carl Winslow is listed as day-to-day with a pulled hamstring. And Columbia All-American Ross Geller is out with the bends.
Did you not realize what you were doing there?
That's the injury report. It's brought to you by Next Level Performance, next level care for next level athletes like Ross Geller.
Do you see what you just did there? Now that you arrived at the end and we proved somehow that you read without retention, Roy and Mike are celebrating because they have again put something in front of Stugotz and he has simply read it without retaining a word of what he was saying. Do you want to try it again and see if at any point you will realize what it is that you did?
Sure. Baseball season rolls along. Tune in tomorrow as Manny Machado and the Dodgers visit the Cardinals, presented by Barbasol Razors. Coverage begins at 12:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPNradio.com, and the ESPN app. It is time to check out the college injury report, brought to you by Next Level Performance. Temple linebacker Corey Matthews, he's a good one. He's questionable with a bruised shoulder. Cal safety Daniel Tanner, he is probable with a dislocated finger. Northwestern receiver Carl Winslow is listed as day-to-day with a pulled hamstring. And Columbia All-American Ross Geller out with the bends. That's the injury report. It's brought to you by Next Level Performance, next level care for next level athletes.
To be fair to Stugotz, and we like to make fun of his lack of retention out here, many of you would not know the name of the Temple linebacker. It's not, most of us would not know whether the name was right on anything that he was saying, because if it's college athletes, you basically know your team and 12 guys, right? Isn't that how most people watch college football? You don't know, the linebackers playing against your team that week, maybe if you're studying, but you're not sitting here following the Temple linebacker. That's just uniforms running up and down the field that you can bet on, and bet the other side, baby. Temple's terrible. Not this year, though.
No. Corey Matthews, Temple linebacker, you could read past that. Even after that, safety Danny Tanner for Cal.
Yep.
Okay, maybe I can still, but then wide receiver Carl Winslow, back to back to back. These are red flags here.
Well, you did Daniel Tanner there. I had it read Danny Tanner, I probably would have caught it a little bit quicker.
Probably,
but that's what I did there. Danny. Yeah, I see what you did there. And, of course, Columbia would have Ross Geller. I mean, of course.
That's where he went.
Yeah. But Dan is right. Like with Clemson, I know the quarterback, okay? I know Kelly Bryant, and I can't name another player on that team.
Well,
not one.
Okay, but that's you.
Not a one.
Okay, hold on.
That's most people. I mean, outside of Clemson.
I mean, it's not most people who care about college football. But okay, point taken. I understand. We've talked before about the idea that college football is now a regional sport. Plus, is someone going to beat Alabama that week? Like, there's only one national story in the sport every week, right? It's not number 5 losing. It's did Alabama lose? Correct?
That's it. Yeah.
That's the only one that's what Nick Saban has turned college football into. You could root for Notre Dame. You could root for what you think is your national school in Texas. But nationally, the only team in the sport, and this has been a couple of years now, that everyone's paying attention to is Alabama. Clemson loses, even Clemson, which has been right there the last couple of years. Clemson or Georgia lose, that's a Clemson and Georgia regional problem.
Yeah, that's correct. I think that's completely
fair.
But
would you marvel at what that is, at what it is that we have in the modern age, built by Nick Saban with all of the game's advantages and now all the money advantages too, because he can get more staff and more resources and all the best players. And he owns this thing in a way that I don't know that he could even recreate somewhere else. Do you think he could recreate it? Do you think that Nick Saban could pick up, go someplace else, and simply recreate that? Because I don't. He has gotten that thing to such a refined place where they get everybody. And now they have a quarterback to go with it. I don't know why he would ever leave there, because I don't know how you derail this outside of a scandal. I really don't. I don't know how you derail this without infractions. Like, this thing's only going to keep getting stronger.
Right. I don't know, Mike. Could he do it somewhere else? It's been an incredible run, a historic run. But I think maybe the right school, Nick Saban, could do this somewhere else. Has to be the right school, though.
I'm talking about this. Nick Saban will go somewhere and make it competitive. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about this thing that's sitting in the modern landscape that feels like those old-timey Celtics teams, or back when Notre Dame was winning everything, where you realize every Saturday what you're watching, those other guys don't really have a chance. All we can root for in this game is one-game sample size.
Right.
Because the team that we're throwing out there to beat Alabama is never going to actually be better than Alabama. What you're rooting for on Saturday is, will football please be random on this day against Alabama?
I think the only real way to stop it, and the thing that would stop it from him just picking up, going somewhere else, and having it happen, is age. He's 66 years old. You can't keep this up, right? Is he still going to be able to connect with people the way that he's connecting with right now when he's, 71, 72?
The reason I asked the question about this, understand what I'm asking you about Alabama, because we haven't seen a lot like this in the modern ages. You can't dominate sports quite like this.
Right.
It's them and the Patriots, and you can't see it very often.
It's 5 national championships since 2009. 5.
I really honestly do not know how you derail that thing, because the reason I asked the question is, when I say, could Nick Saban build this somewhere else, what he has now, not could he compete, not could he win, not even could he win another championship, could he build this thing? Man, it wasn't but a few years ago that Ohio State was winning the championship with his third-string quarterback, coached by another mercenary who's kind of a professional. And you thought, well, from there, he'll build it, right? From there, he'll build it into something even stronger than that. And they're very good. They've started this season overwhelmingly offensively, but they ain't what they were when they were winning the championship with their third bleeping string quarterback. And I thought Urban Meyer from there was going to start stacking the Nick Saban successes on top of each other. And all he did was show us that he doesn't know how to apologize.
Right. It would take Saban a couple of years to turn around a program. Even in Alabama, didn't he lose to UL Monroe or something like that in the early going? It takes time. And at 66 years old, why would he go anywhere else? Because he doesn't have that time to give.
The only reason that he would leave there, I got to imagine, I don't think it would be money, man. I want to say that Alabama would be too small for him. Like he'd have some sort of last ego challenge because Alabama feels too small. But I mean, he could win. He could win there. Guillermo, put this on the poll. Will Alabama be in the Final Four 10 years after Nick Saban has passed away? Because he will get them there from the beyond. Will Nick Saban get the Crimson Tide to the Final Four 10 years after his death? That's the question I want to ask you.
Money, 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 money.
So he's 6 feet under the ground. They win a national championship. You're still signing it to Nick Saban?
That's right.
Okay.
Well, how do you derail it? How would it possibly get derailed? He's got all of the competitive advantages and all of the best players, and now he's got a quarterback.
I guess you can. If you're saying his death cannot even derail it, then there's no way.
Scandal, only something that gets him fired. And I'm telling you, there could be a naked body in the trunk of his car that's no longer alive. And I think Alabama defends it.
Well, what can derail it is another program sort of reaching its heights, and Clemson and Alabama have played, 3 straight years? Clemson's getting itself to the point that the program recruits itself, and Dabo's only 48 years old.
Are you going out tonight with that crud on your face, smelling foul, unbrushed teeth, bad hair? You done that before? What's wrong with you, man? Stugotz does that one all the time. He came in today, and I touched his head because I thought he hadn't combed his hair. And he said, what are you doing? It's a good hair day for me.
I know. He messed it up, man.
Dollar Shave Club will help fix your face. Tell them how, Stugotz.
Yep. Dollar Shave Club has everything we need to be ready for our show. I have to shave practically every day with the DSC Executive Razor. That's fine. I love that razor. But you are not me, thankfully. For you, you might have to gel your hair daily before soccer practice or shave your body completely for a bike race. No matter what you do to get ready, DSC has everything you need to look, feel, and smell your best. Head over to dollarshaveclub.com/Dan right now. Pick your own DSC starter set for just $5. That's dollarshaveclub.com/Dan. Check them out today. 15% off. Plus, starter sets, $5 only at dollarshaveclub.com/Dan.
Oye, this is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
You're working late when you get an alert on your smartphone. Your Blink motion-activated security camera picked up something suspicious at home. You open your Blink app and watch a video clip of someone peering through your kitchen window. You dial 911 and police roll. I mean, isn't the point of having home security to alert you before bad stuff happens, not after? That's what Blink does. Order your Blink cameras now and get 15% off at blinkprotect.com/score. blinkprotect.com/score.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Guest on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance line. Get triple action protection for optimal engine performance with Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline. Our celebrity prognosticator segment is coming up here.
Which one's there? Which one of the Baldwins is there, Mike?
Man, I just listened in live because we're going to simulcast this thing. It would appear to be a hodgepodge of Baldwins.
All right, wow. A hodgepodge of Baldwins. We're headed toward this feud face first with the Baldwin family. We'll get there in a second.
Can't wait. Here's your SportsCenter update. The Bengals defeated the Ravens 34-23 Thursday night. A.J. Green. You started him in fantasy. If you have him, congratulations. 5 receptions, 69 yards, 3 of those 5 receptions, touchdowns.
Nice.
The Senators have traded Eric Carlson and Francis Perrone to the Sharks for a first-round pick in either 2019 or 2020, a second-round pick in 2019, Chris Tierney, Josh Norris, Rudolph Balcers, Dylan DeMello, and 2 conditional draft picks. That's a big trade.
Blockbuster. Carlson's my favorite player in the league. Love that dude.
He is?
Yep.
And finally, Charles Darwin was the first to put wheels on an office chair, thus inventing the modern office chair. About that. Not at home, not a problem, because now you can get pizza delivery to over 150,000 unexpected outdoor locations like parks, beaches, and more with Domino's Hotspots. Visit Domino's.com for details on Domino's Hotspots. For all the latest headlines and information, tune in the SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
Guillermo on the poll, did you know Darwin invented the rolling chairs? So now we check in with the Baldwins, okay? This is what we've got happening around here. Daniel Baldwin, I don't remember which one he is, whether he's the 3rd one, the 4th one, or the 5th Baldwin.
He's my man.
He's fun. He's also the heavy one, I think. He has got a truck coming around here, circling all around here, with his face on it, with a lot of celebrities, and he is trying to give peace a chance. He's putting out an olive branch. So we go now to, we're going to go to Daniel Baldwin after the celebrity prognosticator music. Now, he doesn't deserve to be back here after roaring and giving you his Nostra Daniel picks. He was 1-4 last week. 1-4, just terrible, just objectively terrible. Like you caught, our audience is hemorrhaging money because of the Baldwins. Let's go ahead and do the celebrity prognosticator again.
And now it is time for Celebrity Prognosticator. Let's win some money.
All right, Daniel. So explain what the hell, please, what's going on here. Explain what we're doing right now as you've bought your way back into Celebrity Prognosticator despite a 1-4 week.
Well done, Daniel. I'm proud of you.
Now, hang on a second now. Go back and listen to the tape. Would you rather bet $10,000 on one game and $1,000 on 4 other games and win the $10,000 game? Isn't that really the way it's supposed to be? So you're not using my money management program, sir.
Right. So if we took your one winner,
in my money management program, you even repeated what I said. Bet the ranch on the Ravens. And you went, we're betting ranches now. Who's got the ranch with the most money? Does the Three Brothers Ranches even equal Alex Ranch? I can repeat what you said. And I said, only one time, bet the ranch on the Ravens. So if you were smart, you bet a whole bunch of money on that game, which covered by 37 points.
Right. So you have 2 ranches now. You have 2 ranches.
That's the advancement of having my money management program, sir. So
excellent. That's excellent. The Stugotz is strong in you. What are you doing here, though? Are you doing Billy's picks? Is Billy there? Were you not able to reach Billy?
Listen, I know when I'm on a show as big as the Dan Le Batard show, I don't want to show up with, shooting with a 9mm. I'm coming in with a cannon. Alec, are you there?
Oh,
yes.
This guy. I mean, doing his bills? Or
Listen. I listened to you when you say, look, the only reason why we're having Daniel back on is because we want Alec on the phone. I heard what you said.
It's true. I'm sorry.
So there you go. So Alec is on the phone. Alec, did you want to take another quick shot at these guys because they're so easy to shoot?
I just want to say that I'm here for this climate change summit that's being hosted by Jerry Brown and by the state of California and in San Francisco on behalf of the United Nations Environmental Program. And I want to say that this phone call and my last phone call with you guys has taught me something, and that is the primary cause of climate change is all the hot air that comes over the airwaves when you guys talk.
Not nice to say about your brother,
Climate change is the result of all this BS in sports radio. I got to say, it's incredible.
Daniel, hold on a second. So you have bothered your brother, who is socially active, who's working on climate change solutions 3 hours earlier, just so that you could be back and make more picks after going 1-4.
No, actually, that's not what I did. I covered my angle on that one by having Billy call in just a second to give us his pick. So no, Alec came on because you poked the bear, my friend. You guys poked the bear by going on a monologue, doing a story about Haley and Justin Bieber, and talked a bunch of smack talk about me and my family. So when you had the Stugotz Army drop off a tiny little sign that you glued or taped to our front door, we decided to show you what happens when you say you have an army, when you have the Baldwini Empire, the Baldwini Nation,
right.
The Baldwini Intercontinental Ballistic Missile that landed on your front door today.
I think what you have is Alec's checking account, and I don't have that. I mean,
that tab was picked up. That tab was picked up by the great Ed Levine at ESPN Radio here in Syracuse, my friend.
Really?
You'd be surprised how economical it really was.
We need some Baldwin resources around here.
We need an Ed Levine, I'm telling you.
Yeah, where can we get one of those? All right, so who's making the pick?
Fellas, do me a favor. Can I say one thing?
Yes.
Can you hear me? I got to run because I'm going to go have breakfast with Eric Solheim, who is the executive director of the United Nations Environmental Program. So, fellas, I'm going to go have breakfast. We're going to go save the world. And you guys keep talking about how guys grip their baseball bat. Okay?
All right.
Give Solheim my best, all right?
All right. So he's very busy. All right.
Love you, Zan.
All right. So that was an unsatisfying conversation, and frankly, not worth.
Unsatisfying?
Can we get another celebrity prognosticator before 1 p.m. and just kick these guys out now that we've used them for Alec?
Can we get a smoldering Billy?
That sounds like. Listen. We've already posted the video. We were smart enough to shoot the video on my phone of you talking. So tell me, you show up to work today, and your parking spot is taken by the Jumbotron. Take us through it, Dan. What's the emotion?
Well, first of all, Baldwin, I've got my own parking spot that never gets taken by anything. So I pull up in my car, and there in front of us, like parked illegally, is a giant truck with videos that's very loud, a lot of songs playing. They're terrible music choices that are peace related, and a lot of pictures of you with like the mother from Everyone Loves Raymond.
Oh, yeah, Doris, and she passed and left us. One of my oldest and dearest friends in the business. Such a great lady. I put her up there because I love her so much.
Right, but Charles Bronson's on there. He died in 2003.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't get along with Charlie that well anyway, so go ahead.
All right, so what are we doing here? What are we? Is Sleepy sedated, smoldering Billy around, or is he not around yet?
I have bad news.
What?
Who's this person?
Billy
William.
texted me.
It's Paulie the Mole.
Oh,
Billy texted me that
he's not going to call in now?
He's shooting The Purge right now, so he can't make it in. And
What?
He texted me his picks.
So give me the picks. What are they?
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. This is how we're doing it? This is Billy Baldwin's picks from the set of The Purge? Oh, for the
Billy
love
Baldwin's
of God.
picks live from The Purge. Would you like me to write a quick quatrain to make them a little more juicy?
All right.
Let me write that for you right now while I'm writing.
All this to have you make picks again?
I know. He's making the picks again. This
You
is
are good, Baldwin.
You're a good fraud. You're a good fraud.
Yeah.
All right.
You like how it goes?
All right.
Okay.
Let's go ahead.
So here's one. Take the Eagles -3 over Tampa Bay. Okay. Pittsburgh Steelers -5 over Kansas City. The Chargers -7 over Buffalo. Oakland +6 over Denver. Are you ready?
I don't know if we're ready because I'm confused by the fact that we're doing Billy Baldwin's picks. Billy Baldwin from Fair Game without Billy Baldwin.
While he's filming The Purge.
While he's busy doing, real entertainment, you're saddling us with the fourth fat Baldwin.
Do you believe?
Quatrains from the Great One. Yeah, seriously. Man, the cheesecake is flowing right now there, isn't it? Tell the truth. And here we have, for you, in the form of a quatrain. In the land of the Jags, there's money. Pack your bags. Deflategate was quite shady. Bet the ranch on Tom Brady.
That's not from Billy.
New England. I
That's
put it
yours.
in the form of quatrain. Billy, you know what Billy wrote? Billy wrote, take New England -2.
Okay,
yours is better.
Yeah. All right, yeah, yours is slightly better.
I love you, Daniel.
In the form of a quatrain for you.
All right,
I'm here for you.
We got to go. We're going to rain down all sorts of assassination Disney stuff. Like, we're going to rain down all sorts of crazy stuff on you.
Listen.
Raining down. I heard our reporter downstairs heard
Who's that?
sobbing coming from upstairs inside the Clevelander Hotel.
Who is that?
Who is that person?
That's you're not watching us on Facebook
The
Live. This is
rare,
my beautiful-
not known Baldwin sister?
No, they're coming on if I lose again this week. That's my beautiful wife, Robin Baldwin, on the show today. She was so excited to be on with you guys.
Good morning.
Good morning, Robin. I don't mean to be rude, but get all these Baldwins out of here. Get them all. Thank you, Robin. Nice meeting you.
But don't you realize Steven comes in next week if I lose?
Get out of here. Get out of
Alec
here.
comes in the week after.
The Baldwins are relentless. You guys are so much trouble.
Yeah.
Don't we have control of when we go to commercial around here?
You have no control anymore.
Robin, get out of here.
Demand once more money.
I love that.
Of course, he sides with them. Here we go. Here goes. So the Stugotz going right back to their side.
There's so many similarities.
Hey,
Oh,
Dan.
for the love of God.
Dan.
This guy. Yes, I'm here,
Dan.
Daniel. Yes.
By the way, all the kidding and everything. Congratulations on the nuptials. That's really exciting news for you, bro.
Very nice. Very nice.
I mean, go to hell, all of you.
How about you give us a winner as a gift? Yeah. And say hi to our Pryles when you get there, Baldwin.
DraftKings, week 2 started last night, but that does not mean that you cannot win money right now with DraftKings. You can start winning it right now by making your picks. Tell them, Stugotz, how they can get ready for the weekend.
Yep, it's week 2 of the football season, which means a second shot at victory. This weekend, DraftKings has over $2 million in total prizes, and you can play free with your first deposit to compete for your share. With 1 week fantasy at DraftKings, you choose when to play. Draft a new team every week with no season-long commitment. At DraftKings, you are the GM. Just choose your players, stay under the salary cap, and see how your team stacks up against the competition. So, if you've been thinking about trying 1 week fantasy football, now is the time to play. Download the app or go to DraftKings.com now. Use code Dan. Enter a contest for free this weekend with your first deposit and compete for your share of over $2 million in total prizes. That's code Dan. Only at DraftKings, the game inside the game. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for all the details.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz from South Beach on ESPN Radio.
Guest on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Get in touch with the show anytime to the 1-800-Flowers Twitter feed at Le Batard Show at Stugotz790. Nothing makes up for your football obsession like a surprise from 1-800-Flowers.com. Surpriser. Trust me. To order a dozen multicolored roses plus an extra bouquet and a vase for just $29.99, go to 1-800-Flowers.com/ESPN.
Something that happens around here occasionally, I suppose at some point here, around Tim Kurkjian, who's going to join us in 10 minutes, and David Simon, creator of The Wire, who's going to join us in about a half hour. We find ourselves in these positions where, and we are proud of this as a show, that some people, you might hate them, and then they come on and you're like, I can't hate them anymore. Daniel Baldwin is not one of those people. But his brother Alec might be.
Yeah.
His brother Alec might be, because calling from, he's trying to change the climate that keeps attacking sports and delaying games in a way that's aggressive. And frankly, we need to get our priorities straight and side with sports. But he's tackling the important stuff as we gasbag about the games on Sunday and pick games with celebrities who aren't celebrities.
I'm saving your planet one name drop at a time.
He really did, man. I didn't know whether he was doing that on purpose or not, that Alec Baldwin was naming those people because he likes the caricature of him as overinflated pomposity face of Hollywood.
The Team America Alec Baldwin.
Yeah. Like but I believe he's doing that stuff. I don't believe that that's a lie.
I believe he's meeting with these people.
You know what's a tribute to him? Like, I saw him, and he was very funny on Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee with Jerry Seinfeld. He's not a comedian, but my God, is he funny. Like, he is not a comedian. He would tell you himself he's not a comedian, but he's comedian enough to get in a fancy car with Jerry Seinfeld and have Jerry Seinfeld take that great television show or that internet show that he's got and make it something that everybody wants to watch every time it comes on.
I mean, we've seen several times over examples. This isn't a hot take. It's far easier to come from comedy and pull off drama than it is the other way around. Mm-hmm. To be effective at comedy when you've been known as a thespian, it's very difficult. And Alec Baldwin is now more known as a comedian.
Is he? Put that on the poll, Guillermo.
Is he really?
Let's think about that one for a second.
I think there's a whole generation of people that just know Alec Baldwin from comedies.
That's a good question. Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show, Guillermo. Which do you know Alec Baldwin? What do you consider Alec Baldwin more of, actor or comedian?
A dramatic actor or comedian.
So Tim Kurkjian's going to join us here in 5 minutes. Your important questions, your etiquette questions, your baseball questions. We take them all next. 786-456-4837.
Oye, people, esto es el Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
Stugotz here for DraftKings. It's week 2 of the football season, which means a second shot at victory. This weekend, DraftKings has over $2 million in total prizes, and you can play free with your first deposit. With 1 week fantasy at DraftKings, you choose when to play, draft a new team every week, and no season-long commitment at DraftKings. You are the GM. Just choose your players, stay under the salary cap, and see how your team stacks up against the competition, because nothing makes Football Sunday more exciting than when you have a DraftKings lineup on the line. Download the app or go to DraftKings.com now. Use code Dan to enter a contest for free this weekend with your first deposit and compete for your share of over $2 million in total prizes. That's code Dan only at DraftKings, the game inside the game. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details. ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. With more than 30 unique coverage options available, Progressive knows small business. Learn more at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Tim Kurkjian going to join us in just a second here on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. He takes your phone calls at 786-456-4837. Here's your SportsCenter update. Michael Kendricks, released by the Browns following charges of insider trading, is signing a 1-year deal with the Seahawks. Dolphins receiver Kenny Stills says that his protesting of social injustice and police brutality during the national anthem will continue. And finally, blood donors in Sweden are sent a text message every time their blood is used to save a life. Really nice. This SportsCenter is brought to you by JCPenney. Get ready. Something big is coming to JCPenney. We're introducing Shaquille O'Neal XLG, a tailored line of clothing exclusively for big and tall, only at JCPenney. For all the latest headlines and information, tune in to SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
Tim Kurkjian joins us here every week. We're grateful to have him. If you've got baseball questions, bring them now, or any kind of questions. My first question is, does Jimbo Fisher look like a Southern Baptist preacher standing head to toe dripping in sweat, fanning himself with the Bible before sitting down and casually saying, "Do you know what Jesus said to me this morning?" Does Sam Darnold look like the obnoxious drunk kid wearing salmon-colored shorts who says, "Do you know who my dad is?" before the bouncer knocks him out?
He's a Lego policeman.
He does look more like a Lego policeman. You are correct. Let's go to Gib. Gib, you're on with Tim Kurkjian. Go ahead.
Hey, Tim. My childhood next-door neighbor was Red Sox Hall of Famer Dave Boo Ferris. Had he not gotten hurt in that 47 season, could we be talking about him as one of the greatest pitchers to play the game?
You got to be kidding me.
All right, that's my dad's era, and that guy did a lot of good stuff in his career. He's part of some really interesting notes, but that's before my time, Boo Ferris.
There it is. We found something before the time of Tim Kurkjian. I didn't, Guillermo, put it on the poll. Did you know there was a time before Tim Kurkjian?
It's called Greg Cody.
Paul, you're on with Tim Kurkjian. Go ahead, Paul.
Hi, Tom. If wild animals could play baseball, which animal would you choose first?
I would take the speed animal first, because even though you have to get on base first, the speed of the game is what separates it from the other games. And if you can do things faster than somebody else can in baseball, that's ultimately how you're going to win. So give me a cheetah or something that is really fast.
Jeff, you're on with Tim Kurkjian. Go ahead, Jeff.
Hey, Tom, I got a question for you. Is Judge going to make it back in time for the playoffs? And even if he does, will it make a difference against the Red Sox?
I think he'll make it back before the playoffs, but there is, of course, a huge question when you're talking about a broken wrist, exactly how good he's going to be when he comes back. It's one thing to hit home runs in BP. It's another thing to hit against a guy throwing 98, check your swing through a pitch and miss it, mishit it, end of the bat on the handle. That's where it aggravates a broken wrist more than anything. So I'm fearful for the Yankees that even if he comes back, and I'm sure he will, how effective can he be coming back from a serious injury for a big, strong hitter like that?
Timmy, asking this for my father, who's a lifelong Red Sox fan. He swears that this Red Sox team is the greatest Red Sox team of all time, regardless of what happens here in the postseason. It's got to be.
Your dad, I can't believe your dad thinks that. I thought he measured it with rings the same way you do.
He's been listening to you too long. And so, Timmy, I'm wondering, is my dad right?
They're that good, man.
Well, they're great. And, the record for wins in a season is 105 by the 1912 Red Sox, so they're going to pass that. So by definition, they're going to be. There's nothing this team is missing. It has a bit of a weakness in the middle relief area, as do so many other teams out there, but the rest of that team is really good, assuming, of course, that Chris Sale is great in October.
Do you have any kind of rankings that you do, power rankings of historic executives? Like, where would Dombrowski rank?
Well, he's pretty high certainly on the active list. I think all time we've got some work to do with, John Charles and Pat Gillick and Branch Rickey and Theo Epstein and a few others. But Dombrowski has done some very impressive things over the years, and we'll see where he ranks if they win the World Series this year.
Paul, you're on with Tim Kurkjian.
Hey, Tim, I'm a lifelong Mets fan, and we're about to trot out and celebrate David Wright and Jose Reyes. If that's not the ultimate mediocre Mets move, why the celebration? He's shackled our salary for years. Yeah. He's underperformed. I know he's been hurt,
totally
but my
agree.
God, get off the books. And
get off the books.
So why are we celebrating mediocre again?
Guillermo, put on the poll. David Wright, my God, get off the books. Yes or no? Go ahead. What do you got, Tim?
All right, well, he's not mediocre. He was a way above average Major League player until the day he got hurt. He's the third best Met of all time by my unofficial ranking after Tom Seaver and Mike Piazza.
Wow.
He leads the Mets in almost every single career offensive category. Granted, the Mets do not have a great history of position players. They've never had an MVP on their team, a league MVP on their team. But to call David Wright a mediocre player is, ridiculous.
But, Tim, you agree the problem with the Mets is David Wright is the third all-time best Met in Mets history. Who's the Yankees' third best player of all time?
I want to do this with Tim Kurkjian because I feel like he's got, thank you for giving us your bonus thoughts on the matter. I feel like he's got a pretty good list on every team in the sport of best Blue Jay ever. So go ahead, Tim, do you do one of these for every team? Like, who are the top 3 Blue Jays of all time?
Well, I don't do them for all. I have done the best player for each franchise at one point or another. And Blue Jays, it's debatable. It's either Carlos Delgado or it's Roberto Alomar. But Roberto Alomar wasn't there long enough to maybe be considered the best. But he's the best player who ever played on that team. But Delgado is right there also. So take your pick there.
You can now hear us on 1500 Twin Cities. So in that vein, Tim Kurkjian, top 3 Twins of all time. Go!
Well, you have to determine where the Twins came from, okay? Are the Twins the Washington Senators, therefore it's Walter
Again,
Johnson.
1,500
Minnesota
Twin
too.
cities. 1,500 Twin cities. We are looking for the best Twins in Minnesota. Go ahead and stick those Washington players in your ear.
Okay, I would say Rod Carew is the best Twin, Harmon Killebrew is the second best Twin, and Kirby Puckett is the third best Twin.
See what I'm saying? Kirby Puckett is third for the Twins. I have David Wright. You now understand the problem, Tim?
Right. And to answer your question, Stugotz, the Yankee list is Ruth, Gehrig, Mantle, DiMaggio, Yogi Berra,
Pretty good list.
Derek Jeter, Mariano Rivera, Whitey Ford, Bill Dickey. That's the top 9 off the top of my head for the Yankees. I think the point's well made that the Yankees have a better list. They've also been playing since the early 1900s, where the Yankees started and the Mets started in '62.
I noticed you left out Mr. October.
Well, he's not one of the 10 greatest Yankees ever. He's a great Yankee, but he's not one of the 10 greatest Yankees ever. I think we did this on the air. I'm going to be close on this. This was a Keith Olbermann thing. The 29th all-time home run hitter in the history of the Yankees is Reggie Jackson. The 29th all-time for the Mets is Wilmer Flores.
That is a great stat. Hold on a second, Mike. Mike, hold on a second.
Stat of the day.
Hold on, Mike. Get the stat of the day music. That is just the short one, please, because we're out of time here. But the short one. Give me the stat of the day music, please.
Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day.
Go ahead, Timmy. What do you got?
Well, I repeat, that was a Keith Olbermann note. Just to double check, we got that right. Okay?
Yes, we got that right. You could credit Keith Olbermann, but you could say it again. You need to say it again.
You're good, Timmy.
After the music.
Oh, I need to say it again. Sorry, yes. The 29th, I believe, all-time home run hitter for the Yankees is Mr. October, Reggie Jackson. For the New York Mets, it's Wilmer Flores.
Does Mike Greenberg look like the host of a dinner party who, when serving the wine, announces, "This is Chateau Latour 1899," and then says while chuckling and looking directly at you, "That's the year, not the price, bud"?
Reggie Jackson right now is 31 and Wilmer's 28.
Oh, Wilmer's climbing. Wait a minute, Wilmer's climbing and Reggie Jackson is falling. It's even worse than Kurkjian
No,
said.
Wilmer is tied for 28th with Ike Davis and Lee Mazzilli.
Does Marty Smith look like he wears wristbands out on a Friday night? Does Chris Collinsworth look like the guy who continuously combs his hair with his hand until he gets just the perfect arc? Does Matt Patricia look like he's trying to mentally figure out a way to afford your vintage comic book collection? Patricia's going to be a good one for us, Mike. Patricia, we've been getting a lot of good Patricias lately. Does Matt Patricia look like a pirate mascot of a failing seafood restaurant? We'll talk to you next week. Kirk.
Payday, payday. It is payday.
I think he rivals Cody in terms of making us happy when he shows up.
Oh, no question. I mean, did yesterday change anything for you in terms of Cody and making you happy and all that?
Well, I fired his son.
Oh.
Casper, people, once you get married, that means your late nights out will cease to exist. So I'm told. I haven't agreed to those terms yet. But if you want a mattress to sleep on, Casper will provide it for you. They've helped everyone around here. Tell them, Stugotz.
Yep, we love them. Sleep cool and comfortable every night on a Casper. You'll pick it over any mattress you've ever had, guys. I did. It's a high-quality mattress at an affordable price. It ships for free in a small box, so you can try it 100 nights risk-free. Don't love it? They'll come pick it up and refund you everything. Put Casper to the test. in your own home for 100 nights. It's simple. Go to Casper.com. Use code STU for $50 towards the purchase of select mattresses. That's Casper.com. Code STU. Terms and conditions apply.
You are listening to the Magic City's Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
I just saved hundreds of dollars by switching to Geico. I should have done this years ago.
Disclaimer, traveling back in time is physically impossible unless you know how to build a functioning time machine. Then by all means, travel 25 years back in time, switch your car insurance to Geico. You could save a bunch of money. While you're there, please prevent your younger self from wearing that sleeveless tuxedo t-shirt, parachute pants, and glitter high tops to your senior prom. And at long last, rectify this horrible crime against nature. Geico is absolved of all liability if you destroy the fabric of time and space.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Get in touch with the show anytime through the 1-800-Flowers Twitter feed. It's at Le Batard Show, at Stugotz790. David Simon, creator of The Wire, going to join us in about 15 minutes.
He's righteously angry, man. He is angry.
Dan, it's time for Straight Talk. It's brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Best phones, best networks, no contracts.
He is so talented. He is. I'm interested to talk to David Simon for a lot of different reasons, not the least of which is that he maybe created the greatest television show of all time, right? Wouldn't just about everybody listening to us right now agree, even though television is subjective, wouldn't just about everybody agree that The Wire is top 10 all time in terms of discussions of best television show you've ever seen?
I got nervous there. I thought he created Monday Night Football.
I
thought Breaking Bad was. I thought that was the best show of all time.
I don't like The Wire. I try to watch it back. It starts off so slow.
It does, yes.
That it's hard. And I understand that it was older, but what's with the technology in this show? I thought it was a show based in the 1980s. You watch it back, none of it holds up. It's so bizarre.
What doesn't hold up? The technology?
They work in law enforcement, and they're dealing with 1980s technology.
He was a Baltimore cop reporter, David Simon was, and he parlayed that all into stories about race and drugs and drama. Guillermo, put it on the poll, please, because I believe Mike and Stugotz have both blasphemed against The Wire. Is The Wire consensus top 10 show of all time?
Consensus, yes. We are not part of that consensus. It's just not for us.
Right. You said the greatest show of all time to start. I mean, top 10, I think you're closer. I've never even seen an episode. I'd probably put it in the top 10. So
your top 10s don't mean anything. By the way, Jason Whitlock. Wait, I've got an announcement to make because Jason Whitlock has made giant news here. Giant news. Jason Whitlock. Many of you do not like Jason Whitlock. He is at Fox now. He has a television show, and he has done something shocking. Do you want to tell the people, Stugotz, or do you want me to tell them?
You can go ahead and tell the people what Whitlock has done.
All right. He has come out with, everybody, just be careful. Just calm down. Like, he is a controversial writer. He is a controversial, polarizing personality. He has publicly come out and said that he knows and has ranked the top 5 quarterbacks of all time.
What?
Yeah.
All time?
Yep. All time.
How?
All time.
How did he do that?
Definitively?
All time top 5 quarterbacks. He has released his list.
Wait a second.
And he shared it with us. We are allowed to tell everybody what his definitive list of top 5 quarterbacks of all time is.
There's another network doing top 5 lists.
Jason Whitlock did this?
Yes, you did.
On television?
When did this happen?
And people saw it.
I don't know about that last part.
Yeah. So do you want the top 5? Because I have come up with my top 6.
What?
No.
No.
With a little surprise at the end.
No, what? No.
A little surprise at the end.
No. This cannot stand. We cannot handle 6.
What does that mean? 6 and a surprise.
6 and a surprise.
What's the surprise?
Don't ruin the
You
surprise.
have to find out. Do you want my list? Do you want Whitlock's list? How do you want to do this?
Well, what's Whitlock's?
Yeah.
All right, let's start with there. Hold on a second.
All right, start with
It's going to be hard to follow, though, whatever it is. Whitlock's got the top 5, so I don't know what you're going to appear like a copycat no matter what you do. He's the pioneer on this one. So, number 5, Jason Whitlock, quarterback of all time, Stugotz, is?
Peyton Manning.
Number 4, Jason Whitlock, quarterback of all time, is?
Johnny Unitas.
Wow, he watched Unitas.
Number 3, best quarterback of all time, is?
Joe Montana.
Ooh, a shocker.
And number Number 3?
Yeah, number 3.
Can't argue with
number
it.
3. Number 3.
I thought we measured rings, and it was him and Brady. Number 2 quarterback of all time, according to Jason Whitlock.
Tom Brady.
Possibly be number 1.
No way. No way.
Has
No
to be.
way.
Aaron
No
Rodgers
way.
has to be.
No way. Rings. The number 1 quarterback of all time is
John Elway.
Get out of here.
Terrible list. Terrible.
What?
Terrible.
I don't respect this.
Rings.
He had 2. He got 2.
Rings.
He wrote.
But there's only 2 of them.
Rings. It's more than Aaron Rodgers has won. He's twice the quarterback.
And John Elway rode off into the sunset.
That's
lest
right.
you forget.
Yes,
Punctuation. Yes. More points.
As an executive, another ring. 3.
Oh, you forgot about that.
That's not quarterback.
Okay, so
He's
now.
that great.
But he left out Bradshaw has 4. I mean, there were guys that he left out there.
It's a definitive list.
Yep.
Well, it's his definitive list, and that makes it the definitive list. But Stugotz also has like this copycat bogus list that's going to pale by comparison, and it's not going to be as shocking as that.
So mine is the top 6 here. I will work my way up to number 6. Okay, we'll start with number 1.
Okay.
All right, can we hurry, though? Because David
Yes.
Simon, we're wasting a lot of time here, and David Simon's joining us.
Don't forget the surprise, okay? Number 1, my best quarterback of all time, Tom Brady.
Wow, he was number 2 on Whitlock's.
Yep. See what I did there. Number 2 on my list, greatest quarterbacks of all time, Aaron Rodgers.
Not even on Whitlock's list.
Wow.
Number 3, greatest quarterback all time, Joe Montana.
Wait, is that the same?
You agree?
You agree?
We agreed, yes. Number 4, all time quarterbacks on my list, Danny Marino.
There you go. There you go.
He knows him so well, he calls him Danny.
Yeah.
Yep. Number 5, because you need a gunslinger on the list. Number 5, best quarterback all time, Brett Favre.
Oh, wow.
Number 6 on my list, the only quarterback to beat Tom Brady ever, Eli Manning.
Oh, a 6.
Wait a minute, a 6 with no Johnny Unitas? With no Johnny U?
Oh, Johnny U. And now here's surprise is my 7th greatest quarterback of all time. Yeah.
What?
David Simon and Stugotz's surprise next.
Whoa, that is Straight Talk. It is brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless, nationwide coverage on America's largest and most dependable 4G LTE networks.
Drink all day, play all night. Let's get it popping on the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
You're working late. When you get an alert on your smartphone, your Blink motion-activated security camera picked up something suspicious at home. You open your Blink app and watch a video clip of someone peering through your kitchen window. You dial 911 and police roll. I mean, isn't the point of having home security to alert you before bad stuff happens, not after? That's what Blink does. Order your Blink cameras now and get 15% off at blinkprotect.com/score. blinkprotect.com/score.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. David Simon going to join us in just a second here on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Here's your SportsCenter update. Michael Kendricks, released by the Browns following charges of insider trading, is signing a 1-year deal with the Seahawks. Dolphins receiver Kenny Stills says that his protesting of social injustice and police brutality during the national anthem will continue. And finally, talking to yourself makes you smarter. You think I'd be smarter. This weekend, DraftKings is over $2 million in total prizes. Get the app or go to DraftKings.com and use code Dan to enter a contest for free this weekend with your first deposit. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for all the details. For all the latest headlines and information, tune in the SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
Love this guy's work, his reach, his ambition, his projects, his anger. You can watch season 2 of The Deuce Sundays, 9 p.m. on HBO. David Simon chooses good, strong projects and makes them better. He's a creator. But the one you're working on, no slight to The Deuce. Again, Sundays, 9 p.m. on HBO. But when I heard that you were working on something with Ta-Nehisi Coates about Martin Luther King and that you were doing it with Taylor Branch and it was being produced by Oprah Winfrey, I was like, oh, my God, what is that going to be? So can you talk about that first, David? Thank you for being on with us.
Sadly, I can talk about it, yeah. We were going to do the last volume of Taylor Branch's trilogy about the King years. That point at which you're past Selma, and he turns his attention to the economic deprivation and the plight of the poor in America. And at that point, he loses a lot of traction with middle class America. He's now targeting something very different from just blatant segregation. And so it was sort of the undiscovered country for the civil rights movement, and that's the part I really wanted to get to. And we beat out about 3 of the 6 scripts, and we were I think we turned in one of them, and we were very excited about the project. And at that precise moment, Westworld, the first season of Westworld, pulled the number that it did, which was an extraordinarily good number for HBO. And the production pie is a finite thing, and the executives came to us and said, "Look, the scripts are good, but we don't have the money for this." And so we were doing it as an attempt to meet the 50th anniversary of the King assassination. And so we lost our window. We lost our funding. We lost our window. And I was heartbroken because it was one of the best writers' rooms I ever had.
Wait a minute. So it's gone? So Westworld just takes the budget?
Yeah. Listen, it's not like they didn't pull a number with it. They got HBO a huge audience. I can't, if I'm a network programmer, I gotta respect what happened there. But as far as I'm concerned, I would have rather done it than not.
But you mean it's gone now? Like this is not something that can happen now?
Well, it can't happen for the 50th. We've reached that moment and passed it, and that was the plan, was to try to drop it in April of this year, broadcast it at that point. We missed that window. Anybody could pick it up at any time. Hey, you get 60 million people to give you $1 each, and we can crowdsource it. but there's no money at HBO. They every year they're given a certain amount by Time Warner, and they say make television. And at the moment that we had started budgeting it and had hired a casting director to start looking at casting, we were we were gearing up on it. Westworld pulled that incredible number, and where they didn't know they were going to go to a second season, they knew it right after that. So.
All right, so you can watch season 2 of The Deuce Sundays, 9 p.m. on HBO. It's about the porn industry in the 70s and 80s, and he's got Gyllenhaal and James Franco. Like it's a big deal, a big production. He's got Gyllenhaal, and David.
I got one of them.
You got one of
Gyllenhaal too.
I'm sorry, that's a fine.
Yeah,
I'm
just
sorry,
$5.
My bad. Is that a fine, David? Should that did I pronounce it incorrectly?
We have a fine system here,
I should
David,
be fined
yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
No, you're all right, Gyllenhaal. You're good.
All right.
I'm the enforcer on this, though, so $5.
Okay, so $5 it is. So, Dave, I do want to talk to you, though, about The Deuce, but before doing so, your career has spanned a lot of different stuff, and you are an excellent writer, and you have written out A Vengeance, but what you wrote to Twitter's founder, a bleep bonnet for our time. People can check out the screed, 2,000 words on his website. It is as angry as I've ever read you on any subject. You told him at various points to die of boils. So can you explain to us this anger and this feud, really, that you have with what social media has become?
It's complicated, but I mean, listen, I'm writing with my tongue a little bit in cheek. First of all, I have no cartridge of lethal boils in my back pocket that I can, that I can deliver to my sworn enemies. I am not in possession of any methodology of death and I'm not really threatening anybody or harassing anybody. He's a public figure. So my tongue is in my cheek here, but what I'm saying about Twitter and its policies is that, look, I get that they can't police for libel and slander and for disinformation campaigns launched willingly and purposely. They can't police the content and the substance of what's coming at them at the rate of speed that it is. They're not a newspaper editorial page. They don't have the functionality for that. They don't have the algorithms for that. I get that they're going to fail there. But if that's the case, then every time any one of us sentient people signs on, we're going to be greeted by going to have to mow the lawn of Nazis and white supremacists and anti-Semites and Russian bots. And what they're basically saying with their new policy of you have to be polite is that what they're doing is they're now creating a false equanimity between sort of ethical argument and sort of purpose libel and disinformation. And so they're asking basically the smart people on the site to either do one of two things. Either you ignore the bots and the white supremacists and you just pretend they're not there, which that grants them a level of status that they're allowed to exist on the site without comment. It makes their argument seemingly on the face plausible. Nobody's calling them out on it. Or you have to engage them with a grown-up, like, well, no, it's not actually true that, Jews drink the blood of baptized Christian babies. You're now at 1935, Goebbels, Stryker, pre-Nazi disaster where you're taking the most obscene stuff and you're addressing it as if it requires a normal argument before you can dismiss it. That's also a disaster, and that's what social media has created: is this playing field where the most insane effrontery and brutality is treated with the same rigor and demeanor as intelligent argument. And what you should be able to say to the guy is, no, you're an anti-Semite, and go die of boils and block them. March through that field as if you're one member of the platoon and you're marking the mines for the guys coming behind you. And in that way, that's the only sentient and viable way to survive in social media if you want it to be a coherent meeting place for real ideas. And they've taken that away because now they block you for being rude to Nazis. So, that's my problem with the site, is that he's basically, he can't police what he really needs to police, and so he's policing politeness.
Well, what do you do as someone who comes from newspapers, cares about newspapers? And again, this is David Simon, creator of The Wire, Watch season 2 of The Deuce Sundays, 9 p.m. on HBO. What do you make of the changes that result in social media having sort of buried newspapers?
Right. I mean, the reason I got involved in Twitter in the first place, almost as a thought experiment for myself, as a rhetorical experiment, was I'd gotten the impression, particularly in light of this last election cycle, in which we, delivered, submoronity to our, national politics. I got to the impression that, and I think it's true, that what's happening on social media is that ideas and disinformation and corruptive values and outright falsehood, they all get their boots on and start invading Poland before anybody else gets out of bed, and before the mainstream media gets out of bed. The national agora has become Twitter and Facebook and these places that move with a rapidity that defies the ability of real reporting and of real journalism to sort wheat from chaff, to say, no, that's not true, to say, no, that's a ridiculous conspiracy theory, and to come behind it with the facts and clear everything up. And incredibly, Jack Dorsey went in front of Congress and said, this is not my job to tell you what's true or not. That's the job of reporters. It's really important that they come behind and clean all this mess up.
David,
that's you're at. If I've ever smelled abdication, that's it right there. I understand that you don't have the capacity to do it, but then don't make your site so damn hostile. And I am not a guy who wants anybody banned. I don't care if they ban Alex Jones. I just want Alex Jones. I want everybody to call him what he is immediately, and be able to be as contemptuous of him in the public view as he ought to. Right now it's like we're down to debating whether or not he hurt somebody's feelings, rather than getting down to the brass tacks of watch this guy lie on you. Because if he's going to ban Alex Jones, there's 17,000 people behind Alex Jones. There's Russian bot factories that are creating disinformation campaigns. He can't do it. That's not where he can draw the line. But then don't draw the line so that you make it hospitable for these people to exist, and they have to be treated. They and their ideas have to be treated with sort of a reasoned, nodding, analytical tone.
Number 7 was Sam Darnold.
Watch season 2 of The Deuce Sundays, 9 p.m. on HBO. David, I really do admire your work. Tell the people why they should be watching this thing.
Okay, everyone's telling you it's the porn show. It's actually the show that's about sexual commodification and about misogyny. We didn't know there was going to be a Me Too hashtag. We didn't know that was going to. We didn't know Weinstein was coming and that national moment was coming. but we did know what we were writing about, and we were writing a show for that moment without ever knowing there would be a hashtag or a slogan. And it really is about the manner in which men and women have our relationship to each other, sexual, cultural, social, political, economic, I think has been, listen, these things have been around forever, but the legality of pornography in the last 50 years of organized legal pornography as a major industry in America, I think has metastasized a lot of our problems. And so it's really about that. It's about men and women and how we've come to see each other through the prism of the organized sex industry. So, I mean, there's smart stuff behind it, but yeah, when somebody turns to you and says, "Are you watching that porn show on HBO?" That's what they're referring to.
Well, that works too, though. That works. That's fine. You can go high-minded, or you can just say the porn show, and people will watch that. You could have shortened it up.
Anyway,
actually,
I get them. I don't get many, but when I get them, I'll take them.
See,
anyway
Simon, this is how your good stuff wouldn't be blocked out by Westworld if you just did more porn. You need
more
to do
dragons.
More porn, more dragons. Thank you.
More dragons, more robots.
Thank you, David.
Sure.
This show ain't free. Time for some ads.
Mike Ryan was telling me in the middle of that, I feel like I want to call Will Kane right now to just get him to interrupt. just to start talking the other side. Whatever it is that might be said on the other side, just get Will Kane because no one here can do it. Tell the people, Stugotz, right? No, none of us can do this. Tell the people about Dr. Pepper. It's always associated with college football around here. Tell them how, Stugotz.
David Simon, I get it.
Make sure to tune in to my new favorite TV show, Fansville, presented by Dr. Pepper, airing every Saturday throughout the college football season during the commercials. Fansville is the only show that stars Dr. Pepper, puts the spotlight on fans, and perfectly captures the emotional roller coaster that is the college football season. Critics are saying it's good, fantastic. Is anyone else thirsty? And literally the best thing since Diet Dr. Pepper and Dr. Pepper Cherry. In Fansville, Dr. Pepper delivers a tour de force performance alongside legendary college football co-stars Brian the Boz Bosworth, Eddie George, and the Mad Hatter himself, Les Miles. Experience the pain, the passion, and the deliciousness of college football fandom this fall on Fansville, presented by Dr. Pepper. So, pull over, veer right, slant left, do what you got to do to get to your local Walmart and pick up some refreshing ice-cold Dr. Pepper, the official drink of Fansville. And hey, while you're at it, don't be afraid to go for two.
Estás en sintonía con el Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Time to find out what's on the menu at Buffalo Wild Wings. Some series this weekend in Major League Baseball include Nationals at Braves, Dodgers at Cardinals, Diamondbacks at Astros. Week 3 games in college football include Georgia State at Memphis, number 12 LSU at number 7 Auburn, number 17 Boise State at number 24 Oklahoma State, and number 4 Ohio State at number 15 TCU. And week 2 games in the NFL include Panthers at Falcons, Vikings at Packers, Patriots at Jaguars. Sunday night it's Giants at Cowboys, and on Monday night it's the Seahawks and the Bears. That's what's on the menu, brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. Come to Buffalo Wild Wings for their $5 game day deals.
So we're getting hammered here via text for having on David Simon, someone whose politics many of you don't agree with, and someone... There's some really good text here ripping me and David Simon for being terrible. So this is Kenny G stopping by to just wish me a happy engagement.
How'd you guess?
Or I don't know. How did I guess? I recognize this voice. Kenny, welcome. It's good to have you here.
Congratulations. I'm hoping that you didn't think it was another sax player.
Yeah, exactly.
I only have sax with one, my friend.
There you go.
I'm monogamous now.
Yes, you are. Well, just pick some good music for the ceremony. That's all I ask.
Right. Will you be performing at the wedding, or what do you think?
You want to come over? Like you want to be a part of it?
Anything can happen, bro, as you know.
Yes. All right.
The fact I'm on your show proves it.
Hey, Kenny, while we have you, what's the single biggest thing the Falcons need to do to beat the Panthers this weekend?
There it
If I play the national anthem, it's over.
Kenny, always good hearing from you. Thank you for stopping by and stopping me from going on a political David Simon screed. We appreciate it.
Congratulations again. Talk soon.
Thanks from all of us. Thank you.
I mean, you see how mad everyone is on the text, right? There's some funny stuff here of people it's just shooting missiles and insults in every direction.
I read them all.
I mean, you saw them, right? I need to read.
How could you not see
I need to read some of these next because they're unbelievable and they're funny. And many of you don't seem to have any idea who David Simon is. Like no idea. And again, the army of Stugotz waves its flag of ignorance, and it has no actual flag. It's just a pole.
Mi gente, this is the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
Stugotz here for DraftKings. It's week 2 of the football season, which means a second shot at victory. This weekend, DraftKings has over $2 million in total prizes, and you can play free with your first deposit. With 1 week fantasy at DraftKings, you choose when to play, draft a new team every week, and no season-long commitment at DraftKings. You are the GM. Just choose your players, stay under the salary cap, and see how your team stacks up against the competition, because nothing makes Football Sunday more exciting than when you have a DraftKings lineup on the line. Download the app or go to DraftKings.com now. Use code Dan to enter a contest for free this weekend with your first deposit and compete for your share of over $2 million in total prizes. That's code Dan only at DraftKings, the game inside the game. Minimum $5 deposit required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details. ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Guest on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Here's your SportsCenter update. Henrik Zetterberg is retiring due to a back injury. 33-year-old Adrian Peterson says that he is not ready to retire anytime soon, as he wants to play 3 or 4 more years. And finally, George Washington spent $200 on ice cream during the summer of 1790, which equals roughly $5,100 in today's money. A lot of ice cream.
He liked ice cream. That's my monthly budget on ice cream as well.
You knew the exact.
I do. I'm on the George Washington diet. $510 worth of ice cream a month.
No, $5,100.
$5,100. Excuse me.
Yes. Not a fine. Not at home, not a problem, because now you can get pizza delivery to over 150,000 unexpected outdoor locations like parks, beaches, and more with Domino's Hotspots. Visit Domino's.com for details on Domino's Hotspots. For all the latest headlines and information, tune in to SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
We like to mix some of the salty with the sweet around here, so every once in a while we'll give you some David Simon, and then we'll segue from that into wearing costumes. We were just in the back room there looking at Greg Cody, me, and Stugotz all lost at the grid of death. I had the Saints. I had the biggest sure thing in week 1. I had the Saints, and of course I go in week 1 to the grid of death. We got to go to the grid of death again here and the bucket of death in a moment. But we have selected our punishment. Stugotz and I. Greg Cody is having surgery. His son has been fired. So Greg Cody can't be here to select his indignity. But I have selected Allison's commute. It is Allison's commute from work. She works 90 minutes away. And Stugotz has selected the other toe of Greg Cody, the other toe.
Right. I once cut Greg Cody's toenail, his big toe. It was disgusting, was gross, and now I am going to cut the other big toe. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep. That's a tough day for Chris. His dad's in surgery, and you fired him. I mean, that's pretty bad timing on your part.
What does Allison's commute mean exactly? You just said it's 90 minutes away. So, how long do you have to do this for?
You have to, whoever is going to enforce this, who cares? But technically, the rule is that you have to drive to work from Allison's home in the morning and replicate her daily commute.
One time?
Yeah, just once.
Just once, huh?
What do you mean
something's fishy?
I will walk from the garage to here, and then it'll be complete.
Wait, but how are you going to do it? Are you going to drive up to her place in the morning and then drive back here? Are you going to sleep over? How's this going to play out?
Yeah, how's this going?
Sleep over?
I mean, but how's it going? You're going to drive up in the morning and then do the commute?
No, it sounds like he's just going to walk from where you park your car at the garage to here.
That's your commute. Your commute is from the parking garage to here. I can't climb through this loophole.
Works for me.
Now, I'll go from Allison's house one day. That's fine. I've selected that.
All right, so here's what you could do if you want, because my daughters haven't seen you in a while because you blew up their bat mitzvah. If you want to stay at my house, which is closer to Allison's house, you could stay over for the night, hang out with the kids. Me and Abby will go out, and then you go up to Allison's house to sleep. How about that?
Put it on the poll, Guillermo.
Babysitter.
Would you want Dan as a babysitter? And by the way, he's got teenage daughters.
They would make mince meat out of you, my friend.
They're not 4 years old. Like, they don't need babysitters.
They still do.
So a texter, man, Stugotz, beyond all the STFUs and the OMGs and what is this guy talking about and get him the bleep out of here and this guy needs to get some sex. And, I mean, he is just getting hammered. David Simon, deport this guy, one-sided jerk. It just keeps coming in over and over again. Holy boring interview, man. Why is this guy still talking? Let me guess. Politics. I'm out of here. This bull bleep segment is sponsored by the DNC, which Dan is desperately trying to be a part of, but should be focused more on the Lions' next game before everyone gets fired over there. Holy cow, this guy's long-winded and full of himself. Please never interview this guy again. Talk PPR, not NPR.
Now you're talking my language.
That's a little better.
Cole Beasley. Seriously. 8 catches, I think, last week.
And then there's this one. To actually think that your viewers give a bleep what some HBO producer thinks on social political stigmas, it's just baffling. It's baffling how dumb you really are. So, David Simon is supposed to be someone to us. You guys are bleeping amazing.
I mean, not to point this out, but sending a text message of that length saying that you don't care what he thinks doesn't make much sense to me.
Well, you don't have to like it, okay? Like, I just like talking to interesting people about interesting stuff, and I get the idea that many people tune into sports and they don't want anything else. They want to escape from it. But I just want to talk to interesting people about interesting things. And David Simon, look, man, I know I'm getting old around here. And I know in getting old, what you're going to do is you're going to lose to the young people. The young people are going to make everything popular. You are going to lose as you get old. And so David Simon sounds like someone shouting to get off the lawn. But the part that, I wouldn't say bothers me, but the part that I notice is the attention span of these people who are complaining is like 2 minutes. They want nothing but sparkly things and juggling and fire and bend over and make fart noises. And they're here for that part of our show. And we will continue to give them that. But you're going to eat that one every time as long as I'm here. You're going to sit there and eat it and then text your complaints, and then you're going to eat it the next time as well. And you're going to keep eating that one again and again and again, and we'll give you your fart jokes. There you go. There it is. Let's go to the bucket of death. Let's get the Grim Reaper ready. Let's make our picks right now. The Grim Reaper is ready. Thank you, Stugotz, for your important contributions to the show.
Career.
That's right. That's right.
I love it.
And there they are, the human manifestation of the fart joke. There he is. Guillermo, put it on the poll at your convenience.
I get paid for this.
Is Stugotz a human whoopee cushion? Mike, do you think the whoopee cushion industry is still doing well? Like, do you think
they're killing it, man. I'm telling you. I just got a couple for my kids. I did.
Whoopee cushions, you think, are still big business, do you?
Yep, I'm looking up whoopee cushion sales right now. I'm telling you, man.
All right, so Chris Cody's not here because he's been fired, so I guess that exempts him from the grid of death and the bucket of death. So Billy is still on his golden helmet of life from last season, so he's got his third straight bye week here where he doesn't have to do anything, I don't think.
During a local hour yesterday, Izzy Gutierrez stopped by and he picked, I believe, the Eagles.
Okay, so the Eagles are a favorite, 3 points against the Bucks at the Bucks. So Guillermo, you're not selecting now, or are you selecting for someone else?
I mean, hypothetically, in case Chris was not fired, I could select for him.
No, he's fired. We can ignore this.
Okay.
Let's go. Roy, go ahead and select here. The way this works, by the way, let me explain this to the audience, even though this is mostly audio. and what we're doing here is visual. We reach into a bucket. It's got a bunch of NFL helmets in it, and then that team, we're assigned that team for the week. If it wins, we don't suffer any indignity. If it loses, you got to cut Greg Cody's big toe or some sort of thing like that. So, Roy, what have you selected there? The Jets?
It's the Titans.
All right, so the Titans have been selected. They are going to get their 2-point favorite at home against the Texans. Nope.
Yes, I'm putting this back.
Okay, you're putting it back. Mariota is always questionable. He's highly questionable.
Actually, putting it back. Someone would have a problem with that if you were enforcing the rules.
Well, that's a good thing no one's enforcing the rules. Go ahead and reach into the bucket. Must be very hard for you to.
$10 draw again.
$10 draw again. Nice. I hate that helmet.
I finally got it. Finally.
I hate that helmet. Congratulations. You just got a bunch of money. Too bad Chris Cody was fired. It would have made an extra $10.
And I'm immune, so I'm not giving him $10.
What do you mean you're immune?
Nah,
you
golden
pay
helmet.
That.
No. I'm not giving it.
And I have no money, so I'm not giving up $10.
Hey, man, you guys owe me.
Who did you just select?
The Broncos.
All right, so you've got the Broncos. Now they're a 5.5-point favorite against the Raiders. What are you laughing about, Roy?
Yeah, there are 2 Bronco helmets in this bucket. So
it's totally messed up.
It is. The whole thing is contaminated. Mike, go ahead. Go ahead and just select.
We're doing this without gloves, okay?
Yes, we are doing it.
It's all changed. Everything has changed. Except me losing. That hasn't changed.
All right. Hugs. That means I have a bye week, according to this helmet, and I get hugs from everybody.
All
right. Congratulations. Go ahead and Roy and Billy, you pay your hugs now. Reaper, you pay it at the end of the segment.
I'm immune from hugs.
You're immune from hugs, too. Okay. All right.
Thanks, this whole thing.
All right. So here is Stugotz's selection. He,
Can't
of
wait to
course,
get the Cardinals.
will rummage.
Rummaging? Rummaging is happening right now. Dan, I have a helmet in my hand.
Oh, Lee Corso headgear.
Headgear for Corso. Where are they this weekend?
I think they're actually at TCU, Ohio State. So whichever mascot he puts on his head, you have that team. If that team loses, you go to the grid of death.
All right, bring him back. I don't trust the Buckeyes here.
Don't trust the Buckeyes? Okay.
No.
They don't trust you either.
Lee Corso won. Lee Corso won for me last week.
You did?
Yeah.
I'm going to regret this, aren't I, Mike? All right, I have a helmet. Oh, I have Alabama.
All right.
Oh, congratulations.
I upgraded.
20.5 point
Alabama
favorite.
at Ole Miss.
I had the second best college football team in the country, and I made a major upgrade.
I am going to select here in the event that Human Resources is involved, Disney is involved. I'm going to select for Chris Cody in the event that the family brings litigation, and he's got to be rehired.
I was meaning to tell you, it is under review.
So he's taking the Vikings. The Vikings I've selected for him. The Vikings are at the Packers. It's a pick'em game.
Does he want that one?
Hold on. Is Rodgers playing? Do we know yet?
We don't know. We had him on
I
the
wish
show.
we had a chance to ask him.
One day at a time. McCarthy said nothing has changed. So,
all right, would you guys keep this or would you throw it back? Because good Lord, that hurts.
I will tell you that Mike Zimmer, the Vikings coach, said Aaron Rodgers walks on water.
I'm taking the Vikings.
All right. I'm going to select
on water.
I'm going to select the second one in the event that Chris Cody gets rehired. He's got the Colts. The Colts are at Washington. They're -5.5. I am now selecting for myself.
All right, so he's got Colts. Okay.
What happened? You want me to do something different?
So you put the Colts helmet back in. All right.
Yeah, the Colts are +5.5, and now I've got the Seahawks. Who are the Seahawks playing?
Monday Night Football at Chicago and Khalil Mack. That's going to be a tough one.
Put it back.
Oh, no.
Do I want that?
They are a 3-point dog Monday night at Chicago.
That's 3-5.
But it is Russell Wilson against Mitchell Trubisky.
Yeah, put it back. Put it back.
All right, I shouldn't put it back.
You think the Bears are going to be able to recover from what Aaron Rodgers did to them in the fourth quarter?
I'm going to put it back. Oh, now I got the Bears. And no, of course they're not going to recover.
Bills, yo.
Blink, people. If Stugotz is conniving, if he's in your bushes, if he's trying to steal your stuff, Blink will not allow it. They will spot him, make him afraid, and make him run somewhere, perhaps, where he can't steal your stuff. Stugotz, tell him about Blink, please.
Give you a kiss, too. You got a hug and a kiss. How about that? Imagine this is you. You are working late when you get an alert on your smartphone. Your motion-activated Blink security camera picked up something at home. You pop open your Blink app and see the silhouette of a man peering through your kitchen window. Frightening. You dial 911, the police roll. The job of a home security system is to help stop crime before it happens, which is why you need to choose Blink. That's what I chose. Get 3 Blink cams for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off. Visit BlinkProtect.com/Dan. Do it today. 15% off. BlinkProtect.com/Dan.
Party in the city where the heat is on with the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Computer, execute 12.4p operation. Optimizing algorithm. Running encryption packet alpha 990. Oh, I don't feel so good. What is it, computer? Is it hot in here? It feels hot in here? I feel a little clammy. I should lie down or something.
A computer with a virus? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
Those oysters Rockefeller were a mistake.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
If you missed any of the show, you can listen to all 3 hours of the Dan Le Batard Show on demand in the ESPN app, plus our Miami-only hour that airs before the show. And now you can subscribe to our Best of podcast. It's all available in the Listen tab of the ESPN app.
Stugotz, how did you enjoy that Thursday night football? Football was back. You pumped it into your veins. The Ravens, I told you, right? I told you about the Ravens. The Ravens, you are not to trust them. Even when they win the championship, do not trust them. Last year, you did not trust them, and they lost against Jacksonville 44-7. And then you didn't trust them, and they beat the Dolphins 40-0. They're capable of those wild swings. Do not trust that football team.
All these football teams are capable of wild swings, with the exception of one, really, the Patriots. I mean, it's the truth. Like, who had the Bengals 68 points through week 2, 2-0, Andy Dalton, 6 touchdowns, 1 interception, A.J. Green at 3 last night. I like the Bengals team, mostly because I think they're actually pretty talented.
Hey!
Yes?
Can I talk?
Oh, my God. What's this guy doing? Who's this guy? Is this a guy who goes out on Friday nights wearing wristbands?
Hey, Charles Wade Barkley.
I thought it was Marty Smith. I legitimately thought that was Marty Smith is who I thought that was.
Get out of here.
What are you doing, Wade?
Hey, fake news. Fake news, fake news. You engaged?
That's right. I got engaged. Yes. What are you doing? Yes, I got engaged. Have you met Valerie? You haven't met Valerie yet, have you?
First of all, let me tell you something. I got a picture of this girl. Let me tell you something. Boy, being a famous sportscaster has been good for you.
Yes, she's very beautiful.
You listen, Dan Le Batard diploma couldn't get that.
That's true. That's true. That's all you got for me?
I'm happy for you, brother.
Charles, are you expecting to be in the wedding party, just out of curiosity, or are you expecting it?
No, I don't do weddings or funerals. I just want to come and get drunk at the reception.
My man.
All right. Well, you're invited to that. It should be.
No, I just don't listen.
That's all I want to do, actually.
Well, listen, are you going to invite your fat dad into the wedding?
No. I've got a whole royal wedding situation where I don't want my father there.
I mean, you can invite your mom because she's a saint. Yeah. Your mom's a saint. But you can't invite the fat man because they're going to wear one of those ugly green shirts or that ugly purple shirt he wears on your show all the time, which is hideous.
He hates you so much?
Hey, listen, let me tell you something. Listen, I drop him like a sack of potatoes.
I don't know about that anymore, Charles. You're old. You don't move very well.
Wait, I'm always be younger than him.
That's
a good point. Yeah.
That's a very
you
good
always will be, Charles.
That's a very good point. Yes.
Hey, as a matter of fact, I am an old fat guy and I can't fight. Your dad is probably the only person I'll fight with.
Okay. Very good. Well, I appreciate you calling in. Should we talk to you for a little while, or is that it? You're just going to stop in and leave?
No, so listen, did you do it? Like, how did you do it? Did you get down romantic? Did you get down on your knee?
Yes, I got down on a single knee on a rock somewhere overlooking Africa. Yes.
You got married in Africa?
Yes, the motherland. I got engaged.
Wait, you're married?
Not married. Not married.
First of all, you're Cuban. It's not your motherland.
I was speaking of your motherland.
It's my motherland.
Yes, I got down on one knee, and it took me about 3 days to get back up.
Were you sweating afterwards?
You know what, man? Listen, that's romantic, man. First of all, I'm surprised you're romantic, but I'm really proud of you, man. You're a great dude. You know, we've been friends for a long time. I tell people all the time, I said, Dan is one of the best you're ever going to meet as far as sportscaster goes. He's the best guy. But, man, I'm happy for you. Now, I know your dad, old fat boy, always talk about you having grandkids.
You're going to all the yes, they want grandkids.
Well, I'm saying that it might be a little late for that. I mean, you ain't got much left in the tank, so he might have to give up on the grandkids thing.
All right. So how about Uncle Charles? Uncle or Godfather Charles?
Listen, first of all, listen. If you're gonna make me the what's that? The Godfather.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I'm pulling for you, brother. I mean, I don't know if you, like I say, I don't know if you got much left in the tank, but I'd be happy to be a grandfather. A godfather.
All right. Well, there we go. I should do it just because he's super famous, right?
So would I. I'd be happy to be a godfather.
Oh, yeah. Cause you're like
you want Izzy.
You know what? Hey, Stu.
Yo.
He's like those people, like regular people who I don't even like. They always send you stuff for weddings and their high school kids' graduation, and they know that you're not going to the wedding, and you know you hate their kids, but they know because you're rich and famous, you're going to give them a nice gift. I hate that.
How often does that happen to you, Charles? I feel like that probably happens.
I do it all the time, Charles.
I feel like people do that one all the time to you.
Everybody in my hometown, I'm from a small town in Alabama. First of all, I only go there to visit my family, and I don't even know their kids, but they always leave stuff in my house, so they know I got to give them a gift. I mean, because you can't be going around people bad-mouthing and stuff. He didn't give me anything, but I don't even like them. But they always want a gift. It drives me nuts.
I love you, buddy. Thank you for calling in. We'll see you at the wedding.
Well, I told you, I'll see you at the reception, brother.
I will look forward to that deposit. I'll give you the routing numbers afterwards so you don't have to come to the wedding.
Oh, I'll tell you what. I'll see you in the playoffs with the Heat. Oh, bad example, so I won't see you. I'll see you at the wedding.
Oh, wow. One cheap shot on the way out. Charles, making Miami mad at him again. Thank you for calling in, buddy. I appreciate it.
See you around, man.
Bienvenido a Miami on the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
You're working late when you get an alert on your smartphone. Your Blink motion-activated security camera picked up something suspicious at home. You open your Blink app and watch a video clip of someone peering through your kitchen window. You dial 911 and police roll. I mean, isn't the point of having home security to alert you before bad stuff happens, not after? That's what Blink does. Order your Blink cameras now and get 15% off at blinkprotect.com/score. blinkprotect.com/score.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Guest on the Dan Le Batard Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Here's your SportsCenter update. Henrik Zetterberg is retiring due to a back injury. I got Zetterberg right and do wrong. 33-year-old Adrian Peterson says that he's not ready to retire anytime soon as he wants to play 3 or 4 more years. And finally, a study published in the journal Drug and Alcohol Dependence this month suggests that increasing numbers of middle-aged and older adults are using marijuana and using it a lot. The analysis comes from data gathered in the National Survey on Drug Use and Health from 2015 and 2016. About 9% of U.S. adults between the ages of 50 and 64 used marijuana in the previous year, according to survey results. About 3% of people over 65 used the drug in that time period. This appears to be up from years past. In 2013, the same survey reported that 7% of middle-aged Americans used marijuana in the previous year, and only 1.4% of people over 65. This SportsCenter is brought to you by JCPenney. Get ready. Something big is coming to JCPenney. They're introducing Shaquille O'Neal XLG, a tailored line of clothing exclusively for big and tall, only at JCPenney. For all the latest headlines and information, tune in to SportsCenter on ESPN Radio all throughout the day.
Guillermo, put it on the poll, please. Did Charles Barkley sound like Marty Smith? Am I the only one who made this? Am I an idiot? Because the other room knew Barkley was on the line. I didn't know who I was being surprised with. Am I the only person who made this mistake? Because it's a pretty egregious mistake.
Yeah, you're the only
person. Yeah,
I mean, no one else thought it was Marty Smith.
No.
Nope.
And I understand it was a looks like from earlier, but that's a weird way to describe Marty Smith.
Yeah.
Hey, hello, is this a person who wears wristbands out on Friday night?
That's a great way to describe Marty Smith. I want to ask you guys this question as you read the reports that Kyrie Irving might want to be in New York and that the Celtics might have motive to shop or flip Kyrie Irving for something else if they're going to lose him. I want to ask you about the predicament that basketball finds itself in, because LeBron James isn't just going to sit there and as in Los Angeles with the Lakers, He's not going to just sit there and go into the second half of next season with JaVale McGee and Lance Stevenson.
Mm-hmm.
There is going to be a plot, given everything LeBron is trying to do in Hollywood, to get into the Anthony Davis game, to something. LeBron's not going to just sit there and not get a major player to join him in Los Angeles.
He might sit for a year and wait for Kawhi. I mean, he might do that.
Well, but the reason I bring it up, right, because Bill Simmons pointed this out, that if Anthony Davis goes with clutch management, you might as well go ahead and start printing the Laker jerseys with Anthony Davis's name on them. You might as well go ahead and do it because it makes a lot of sense. And if I tell you right now, hey, LeBron and Anthony Davis, are you interested?
Yeah.
Are you thinking that can challenge Golden State? I would slow you down on that one because while they wouldn't have as many great players, they'd have now two better than just about anybody the Warriors have, and nobody can say that.
I mean, Steph Curry and Kevin Durant.
I would take Anthony Davis over Kevin Durant and feel okay about it because I got 10 years of Anthony Davis coming.
Okay,
because he's younger. I wouldn't feel terrible about having. That's fine. We could say Kevin Durant is a better player than Anthony Davis, but Anthony Davis is in that conversation.
Yes, he is in the conversation. What makes the Warriors so special, obviously, is when you get to 3 and 4. That's it. It's Klay Thompson and Draymond Green. That's the difference, I think.
But I have not seen. I would like to see anyone go after Golden State with two players who can be as good as their two good players. Two of them go and you saw what happened when LeBron and Kyrie tried it. Yep. They went crazy, and nobody's ever lost in the finals going crazy the way Kyrie Irving, the way a duo have. But the math has changed in that sport where Golden State is too good.
No Durant there, though.
The math has changed in that sport where Golden State is too good by everyone's measure. And what I would ask you is this. If you're the New York Knicks, you don't have anybody. But if you're the New York Knicks and you can get in the Kyrie Irving game, what is that getting you? Because everyone else is so far behind that the Knicks get in the Kyrie Irving game, and what?
It's getting you a 26-year-old superstar. I mean, it is. I mean, Dan.
I'm not, Stugotz, I am not saying that you don't want him. I'm not saying that he's not great as a young player. What I'm saying is when you're going up against Golden State, you're the Knicks and you get Kyrie Irving, and what? And what?
4 seed in the East, 3 seed, 2 seed. You're right. Your larger point is I understand.
That's how hopeless they've made it. Even if you have them winning the East, you still give them zero chance. None of you wanted to see the Celtics against the Warriors in the last finals. They wouldn't have had any chance against the Warriors in the last final.
I'd be interested in Celtics Warriors this season if Kyrie and Gordon Hayward are healthy. I'd be interested to see that series.
Okay,
I think Golden State would probably win, but I'd be interested to see it.
But if Kyrie Irving does what we're talking about here, if Kyrie Irving does go to New York, do you realize that he's going toward the descent on going from standing next to LeBron James to a lesser team in Boston that was knocked out, even though it was just LeBron James last year and they were on the road in Game 7, knocked out by LeBron. Now he'd be going to the Knicks. Like, he's going from the side of LeBron James to down, 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 because who's he going to get to play with him?
Well, I mean, Porzingis
is there, and these super teams, you always have to have at least one superstar there. Even with the Celtics Big Three and the Heat Big Three, they have the established superstar. Now, I don't think Porzingis is quite there yet, but let's just say, for argument's sake, he is. And you get Kyrie, then you're a superstar away from being in that title conversation.
Then there's a free agent who might say to himself, hey, if I go there with those two guys, at the very least, we're going to win the Eastern Conference.
Again, all I'm pointing out to you, I am not arguing with you guys. I'm asking you to take inventory of what that gulf is. When if you get Kyrie Irving, a top 15 player, a top 20 player, wherever you want to, you're still not really in the game.
No.
You're just starting to try and build the thing and waiting for Kevin Durant to leave Golden State.
It's why I was so frustrated when Durant decided to go to Golden State, Dan. They have changed everything. They have made it unfair, but teams still have to operate and make moves and try to acquire stars. But you're right. Your larger point is right. It doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things. No one's winning a championship as long as those four are healthy and playing together.
But how frustrating must it be, right? Was it was C.J. McCollum who wrote on Twitter when someone said win a playoff series? I'm trying, Jennifer. I'm trying, Jessica. It was something like that. I'm trying out here. Like, Kyrie Irving's not a lot better than C.J. McCollum, is he? I mean, he's very good, and he is better than C.J. McCollum, but he's not a lot better than C.J. McCollum, is he?
I would say a lot better. I mean, C.J. McCollum's a really good player.
If C.J. McCollum had played with LeBron next to LeBron, we'd probably know a little bit more about C.J. McCollum, right? Like there are plenty of people with Kyrie Irving's much of his skill set, not the entire skill set, because his you can make the argument that his handle is better than anybody's but Steph's.
Right. Yeah. They don't win a championship, I don't think. Like CJ and LeBron together? No. So I think Kyrie's...
No, but I think that what I'm saying to you is that if C.J. McCollum had played with LeBron all these years and been in all these playoff games and made a bunch of jumpers, we'd be like, man, C.J. McCollum's a superstar.
Yes, of course. That's what LeBron does for you. Yeah.
And so, again, though, what do you do with what it is that we're talking about if you're the New York Knicks? If you're Kyrie Irving, what do you do? You left the side of LeBron James. That was the height of what it is that you were doing in the sport, and then Golden State toppled you.
If I'm Kyrie, I've already won a championship. I've hit one of the biggest shots in NBA history to win that championship. I go find a market that I want to be in, New York, a major market. He's got other aspirations outside of basketball, and I try to create a team there knowing that I might not be able to, but at least I'm playing in the place I want to play in.
Yeah, if I'm Kyrie, I do whatever the hell I want. I'm a finals hero. I got my ring. I'm Uncle Drew. I don't need to go to L.A. to get theatrical releases. My movies actually go out into the movies. New York, here I come.
This show ain't free. Time for some ads.
Can't wait. Kyrie. Very exciting.
You're very excited.
And Porzingis. Layer away, Dano.
1-800-Flowers. I'm getting married. So's Guillermo. Let's not forget that, even though I swallowed his announcement.
Jeez.
What are you shaking your head about, Guillermo? I'm sorry about that.
You were talking about how you're just going to upstage my wedding, too.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't even think you're in love.
All of the men on this show will be married by the end of next year, and 1-800-Flowers is where you go to send romantic gifts. Tell them, Stugotz.
Yep, after 6 months of football-free Saturdays and Sundays, your family's gotten pretty used to having you all to themselves. Now that's all going to change because football is back. With all the time spent glued to the action, your presence is going to be missed. There's no better way to make up for it than by sending your special someone a bouquet from 1-800-Flowers.com. That's what I do right before every football season. Been doing it for years. It helps, trust me. Right now, when you order a dozen multicolored roses for just $29.99, 1-800-Flowers will give you another dozen plus a vase absolutely free. That's 50% off the original price. Beautiful arrangements of vibrant pink, orange, and purple roses. Amazing roses at an unbeatable price. A dozen multicolored roses, just $29.99, plus another dozen and a vase for free. Trust 1-800-Flowers.com when the game's on the line. So order a dozen multicolored roses plus an extra bouquet and a vase for just $29.99. It's simple. Go to 1-800-Flowers.com, click the radio icon, enter code Dan. Do it today. 1-800-Flowers.com, code Dan.
When I step on the scene, you all know me on the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
From September 5th through the 25th, more than 100 Bristol-Myers Squibb employees will cycle across the country with the goal of raising $1 million for the V Foundation for Cancer Research. Help support the Coast to Coast for Cancer Ride by visiting cancerbikeride.org.
So, Mike, that Daniel Baldwin thing is still out front?
Yep, it's still out front. Right now, if you're watching on television, you probably just saw a live Skype stream of an up-close view of the Daniel Baldwin truck that has been parked outside our studio, showing images of Daniel Baldwin and recordings of Daniel Baldwin saying unfunny things, blaring over its speakers.
Yeah, he's very loud. That truck is very loud. It's circling the Clevelander for the 4 hours of show today. Daniel Baldwin, one of the Baldwin brothers, one of the 5 or 6 or 7 Baldwin brothers, none of whom we can tell apart.
A bunch of pictures also with dead celebrities.
Yeah, a lot of pictures of him with dead celebrities. But Alec was also on with us briefly. We were happy about that.
Which is the only reason we're doing this.
That's right.
Yep.
That's the only reason we're doing any Baldwin brothers. But let's update the polls before we open up the club, Stugotz.
The Twitter poll is brought to you by Discover Card. Discover thinks annual fees are ridiculous. If you do too, find out more at discover.com.
Keep in mind, Daniel Baldwin is not our celebrity prognosticator. He made an appearance on today's show.
Oh.
Alec Baldwin made an appearance on today's show in between UN meetings, saving the environment. He is also not our celebrity prognosticator. William Baldwin, a.k.a. Billy Baldwin, the smoldering one, is our celebrity prognosticator. He didn't make an appearance on the show.
Right, he was busy on The Purge, right.
That's right, filming The Purge.
Mm-hmm. Anyway,
But he could come back next week or not come back next week. Either way, he still might be the celebrity prognosticator or not. He still might not be here.
I wish we could purge the Baldwins. At Batard Show on Twitter, is Kevin Smith in the top 10 for all-time directors? 77% of the audience said no. Top 10?
I know, that was too high.
Absurd take.
Carried away there.
Really absurd.
Yeah. Will Nick Saban get Alabama to the Final Four 10 years after his death? 88% of the audience said yes.
I figured Dabo Swinney is the only threat to Nick Saban, and when Nick Saban passes, they're just going to hire Dabo.
That's got to be an NCAA violation, though, him still coaching them 10 years after his death.
What do you consider Alec Baldwin more to be? Dramatic actor or comedian? 67% of the audience said comedian.
That's weird.
It is. Did you know there was a time before Tim Kurkjian? 90% of the audience said no. David Wright, my God, get off the books. 84% of the audience said yes.
David Wright, my God, get off the New York Mets financial book.
Is the Wire consensus top 10 show of all time?
This better be. It's got to be. I'm going to fight the entire audience. I'm going to run out there past that Baldwin truck and just start fighting people in the street if this isn't in the top 10.
You only have to fight 38% of the audience. 62% of the audience said yes.
Not quite consensus, though.
No. Would you want Dan as a babysitter? 70% of the audience said no. The other 30, you have no idea. Is Stugotz a human whoopee cushion?
There it is. Open up the club. Open up the club.
95% yes.
There it is. Keep it up. There it is.
Sound of the Day is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. Upgrade the shaving with a fresh blade whenever you want for a fraction of the price. Join DollarShaveClub.com today.
What is the sound of the day? All right, so we are opening up the club for the weekend with the human whoopee cushion. Makes every party better. Who's the first sound in the club?
I was so excited to get to run on the field, as a Colt.
That was such a complicated thought he put together.
It was sort of cool to get to go on autopilot there and not have to think about it. I was like, okay, I remember how to take a left and then a right on Capitol.
I love him.
It is.
He's an incredible person. He's an incredible teammate. He's a great friend. So you give him a big hug,
That's Jack Doyle lost the game on Sunday.
It is a game, We do play the game. We don't work the game.